What's up, everybody? I think this is video 93, and it's my third video today. Wow. But I think I'll publish it tomorrow. And the video's about, can you find a second twin flame? And this is to answer you, Deborah Lord, because you've talked about how you're a little frustrated with things and trying to find connection and love. So I'm going to share my thoughts on that. I want to do more than just answer your question. I want to dive into it and share some solutions. So can you find a second twin flame? Yes. Yes, you can. And I would word it a little differently. I would add to the word twin flame, let's just call it strong connections with people that just come out of nowhere, where there's just a strong desire to connect. There's some bliss in the beginning, and then some crisis and turmoil happens with that person that causes a disconnect. So let's use that framework to understand the situation. There's a pattern that happens here. It's almost like there's some kind of orchestration by the universe to make it this way. It's very mysterious to me, but fascinating as well. So in my recent situation, it was very similar. In the recent situation I had with someone, it was very similar, Deborah. I was much more ready for it this time. I picked up the lessons much quicker this time, and I applied the lessons much quicker. So certainly the second time it was a much speedier response because now I understand the pattern and what happens. And I've integrated the principles I've learned, the boundaries, having boundaries and standards, knowing what I will put up with and won't put up with, and having to draw a line in the sand when I'm not being treated right. It's harder to do when you really care about someone, Deborah. And I believe in the situations you've had with people where they've ended, and especially if you've been disconnected from. So correct me if I'm wrong, but are you talking about a situation where someone disconnected from you? I remember you saying you had to be the dumper with someone, a really awesome person. I would love to hear more about that, what that was like. And was that the situation you're talking about, or are you talking about with someone else? I truly believe that in a situation with someone else, if someone else is running away from you, there's two things going on. The first thing going on is, why are they running? Why are they running? And the second thing going on is, why are you chasing? So in these intense connections, that person really wanted you, didn't they? Didn't they really want you at some point? And why don't they now? I'm assuming you didn't do anything crazy, like go after them with a knife or anything. I'm assuming that didn't happen. So why is the person running? Why is it so hard to understand? Well, I have a better understanding of it now. If someone's running, they're afraid. If someone's running from a bear or a tiger or a giant rattlesnake or whatever the thing is, they're afraid of what might happen to them, right? That's what fear is. It's because of something that might happen. And I believe there's multiple reasons people run away. They fear success. They fear of actually having the tangible, successful relationship with you. They only want it to be a dream in their mind. It's much easier to take on. It's much easier to stomach something as a dream. It's easy to dream about a business idea or anything. It's just the path of least resistance. It's much harder to actually go make that thing happen. So in some cases, I think people run away because it's easier to to see it as a dream versus reality. And so people will just sabotage, and run away. And that's hard to understand if you're a mature, rational, logical, reasonable person, because why would you do that? You're trying to actually make it happen. But the one thing you've got to know about all of us humans on earth is there's different types of us, and we have different modes of operation, and there's different attachment styles in relationships: avoidant, secure, anxious. There's a fourth one, I can't remember what it was. You can slice and dice the way people operate. There's no person operating in a way that hasn't been studied before. Like, you can, kind of makes me think that we're all like robots in a way, or programs. Even the way I operate, there's a way to slice and dice it, and it's evolved over time. I would say I'm getting into a much more secure attachment style. I'm not all the way there yet. I still have some anxiousness just because of things that have happened in the past. I kind of have like a much more heavily attuned radar to um, things and my boundaries and standards. And I don't want that to be so overwhelming that I lose out on my compassion and my empathy and kindness. But I believe that compassion, empathy, and kindness needs to go towards those who deserve it and have shown they're worthy of it, and not to anyone that's disrespecting me or taking me for granted. So I've had to integrate this. So there was a lesson for me. Now that this lesson's getting installed, it's still getting installed in me. I can feel it. There's like a process going on of this module in my body. And the same thing for you, Deborah. I think the reason you feel frustrated right now, the reason things are hard right now for you, is because there's a missing piece of the puzzle in a lesson for you. And there's something for you to apply. Now I can share the things that I've learned: not being needy, drawing strength from within, being very congruent, having boundaries and standards. There might be something else for you to learn in your situation, either with someone that you're still thinking about, or whatever the situation is. And that with that person, you need to apply that lesson. And one of two things will happen. That person will respect you for applying the lesson. It's almost like you inserted a key into them, that the right combination, or you'll find someone who matches your new, improved, stronger self. So back to what I was saying earlier, that's the first part. Why does someone run? The second part is us. Anytime you're chasing, especially someone who's running like that, you have to ask yourself, why? Is it just the human nature of wanting what you can't have? Is that the only reason you're chasing someone? that intense connection. So if you're finding a second twin flame and you're chasing again, you really got to stop and ask yourself, why? Am I just running a subconscious, unconscious behavior of chasing what I can't have? And could you flip that around and say, wait a minute, if someone's running and they're afraid, are they possibly afraid of being discovered and ultimately being dumped? Is that person afraid of that? That if someone really gets to know them, they're not going to be interested in them. Is that a reason people run? Probably not the only reason. Is the reason we label someone as a twin flame or a strong soul connection largely because they ran? Is that the reason? That's something to think about deeply. I know it's human nature to want to hold on to the concept of a twin flame or soul connection. And I do believe, like, there's levels of connections that come in our lives. certainly the last one I went through was a higher up connection. Definitely could feel it that way. And I felt it while it was going on and things were going well. And, but once you take the lesson from that and you apply it, then you have to say, oh, what really was this? Was it just someone to come into my life for a time and a lesson? There's a chance of that. And if you apply the lesson with them and they leave for good, then it was just to learn that lesson. If you apply the lesson with them and they come back, then there's something more there. And also ask yourself, do you feel like everything got resolved in the situation? Or was there more to be done, more to be experienced? Those are questions to ask. So to answer your question, yes, I think you can find a second twin flame. I believe I found something similar to that just recently, that has brought about new lessons and growth in me. A catalyst, whatever you want to call it. Do I feel like there's some unresolved stuff? Yeah, of course. It ended pretty abruptly and quickly. And if yours did, Deborah, if yours ended abruptly and quickly, there might be more to experience. And who knows when? It's not something we can control. So you have to just let it like a butterfly go. Let the butterfly go. And provide zero pressure of chasing. And your lesson, you can apply the lesson with love and firmness at the same time. I think you can be firm in your standards without being an asshole. You can just state your truth, but be firm in it. And that's good. So Deborah Lord, I hope this answers your question. The answer is yes. I believe it can happen. And try to understand human nature, both theirs and yours, to better understand them and to know why they're so afraid. Put yourself in their shoes a little bit. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. So if you have more questions about that, Deborah, I will definitely do a follow-up. Let me know in the comments, and I'll do a follow-up video and share further insights. But I think if you have discovered twin flames, you have a wonderful opportunity to dive deep into human relationships and interactions and gain some wonderful knowledge that not a lot of people have. And it'll help you down the road in all your interactions with people. And I'm still learning. I'm not perfect, that's for sure. I'm still trying to figure things out, and the best I can, doing the best I can as a human, as you are too, Deborah Lord. All right, so that's it. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video.